Hi, I'm Megan. Welcome to today's live chapter reading of Smooth Hoperator by Sylvie Stewart, presented by Itsy Bitsy Book Bits. Join me. Chapter 1, Mushrooms and Muses. Sunny. I wonder if he's famous. I consider as I bite down on the end of my pen. Mia taps away at her keyboard beside me at the circulation desk. Unless you tell me otherwise, I'll keep assuming you're talking to yourself. That would be wise. I respond, my eyes never leaving the tall, scruffy figure hunched over the desktop computer at Station 5. He never uses the same computer 2 visits in a row. Is that intentional or simply happenstance? Maybe he's superstitious. Yes, that must be it. It's very on brand for a tortured artist, because that's what I've decided he is. Please tell me you're not still analyzing that poor drifter. Mia cuts into my musings. The last thing you need is another man to take care of. He's an artist, but I suppose he could be both. I prop my chin on my hand and watch as the guy scratches his unkempt beard. The flannel isn't one I've seen before. I assume his usual green one is his lucky shirt because he wears it almost every time he visits the library. The skepticism in Mia's stare is so strong I can feel it without even glancing over. When I do, her expression is the same one Duke gives me when I tell him Greek yogurt tastes like ice cream if you close your eyes. Well, he could be. I raise an eyebrow at my coworker. Mia doesn't share my passion for people watching, despite its ability to turn a quiet day as a public librarian into a forum for delicious fantasies. That's like saying I could be the Queen of England because I occasionally drink tea and own a fancy ass hat. Well, now you're just being ridiculous. You'd need a tiara at the very least. I grin at her and she shakes her head, hitting the log out button on her screen and sliding her chair back. Mia meets her boyfriend for lunch on Tuesdays, but from the glow on her cheeks on her return each time, I don't think much food is being consumed. Whatever you say, but if I walk in this afternoon and you're posing naked on a reading table and asking him to draw you like one of his French girls, I'm staging an intervention, and I'm inviting Duke. I glance back at the computer station to see that the guy has taken off his flannel, exposing muscular arms and shoulders that might recommend a step up in size for his next t-shirt purchase. He could be handsome if he ever stopped frowning and maybe combed his hair. Not that it makes any difference to me, but his dark wavy hair is the exact rich color of potting soil, and his cheekbones appear to have come directly from a sculptor's hands, even under all that scruff. Duke would be on my side, I respond. He never takes anything at face value. My grandfather and I don't have a lot in common, but our well-developed imaginations find a way to connect us. Although his generally leads him down a conspiracy theory rabbit hole, while mine only makes people scratch their heads before ultimately choosing the word interesting to describe me. I could do worse. Mia retrieves her purse from the bottom desk drawer and flips her long braids over one shoulder. I don't know how I always forget this is the same man who insists Twilight is based on true events. This makes me grin to myself and feel sorry for boring people. The world is a much more interesting place if you allow for possibilities. But that doesn't mean I'm a sucker. If it makes you feel any better, I swear on my gnome collection not to pose nude for the bearded mystery man. Not that I can see myself posing nude for anyone, let alone an artist. There's a reason clothing was invented, and I choose to believe it wasn't just so we don't accidentally drop our boobs into a pot of boiling water. Mia considers me for a second before nodding. Thank you. It does. Her dark eyes flash to the computer stations before returning to me. Just do me a favor and keep your distance, okay? I have a bad feeling. Although I think she's being paranoid, I agree because she's my friend, and it's always nice to have someone care enough to worry about you. While Mia is gone, I help an older woman find a Swedish cookbook and I fill out order forms for new digital books we're acquiring. I'm thrilled to see a new embroidery pattern book on the list and make a note to myself to check it out as soon as we get access. In fact, I'm so engrossed in examining the new titles that I don't notice the patron standing across the counter until he speaks. Excuse me, could you grab my document for me? It's the artist, and his voice is the exact one I'd given him if I were anointed voice fairy of the world. It's deep and textured like a well-loved vinyl record that has you leaning in to catch every rise and fall under the crackling overlay. And now that I see him up close, it's clear that his frown is no match for his natural handsomeness. This man is ruggedly beautiful and, indeed, tortured if the inner circles under his eyes and the tension in his jaw are anything to go by. Your document? I ask absently, noting that his eyes are the most beautiful mix of sienna and sun-drenched moss. Yes, his dark eyebrows lift. From the printer? Oh, shoot. I shake my head and offer a weak smile. I was staring, wasn't I? Sorry. He probably gets that a lot. The fact that he's never printed anything in all his visits over the past months is no excuse for my brain to forget my job entirely. I glide on my wheelchair to the opposite corner of the circulation area, snatch the warm papers from the printer tray, and sail back to hand them over. We're instructed to avoid reading the content printed by the library patrons, but that's like dropping hot bacon in front of a dog and expecting him not to scarf it down. I only catch a glimpse of the top sheet in the word addiction. Ah, poor man, the poor tortured visionary, with anguish so haunting and all-consuming, it's rendered him a slave to alcohol and porn to get through the day. Relax, I'm just spitballing, okay? Thanks, he mutters, the rumble of breath over his vocal cords causing the hair on my arms to stand on end. I watch him wander back to Station 5, his attention never leaving the pages in his hands. It's another couple of minutes before I shake myself out of it and get back to the digital books. Another 30 minutes until Mia returns, a twig poking out from one of her braids and a satisfied smile resting on her lips. I wonder if the artist would make love outside or if he prefers the comfort of her bed. Or maybe he's into kinky stuff, satin-lined handcuffs and sex swings. Red rooms? My imagination starts wondering. What you thinking about? Mia's voice has a knowing sing-song quality I'm sure I deserve. There's no helping the heat that paints my cheeks at being totally busted. Nothing. I rush to occupy myself, stacking books from the return bin as Mia chuckles to herself. Darn it. If you must know, I was thinking about something Sebastian said the other day. The amusement dies on her lips, but I pretend not to notice. Oh, Sebastian is not everyone's cup of kombucha, but he's definitely mine. Although I really don't like kombucha, but Sebastian does. He says it's invaluable for gut health, which I'm sure is true. It doesn't change the fact that it tastes like poo, however. How is Sebastian these days? Mia asks, clearly trying to make up for her initial reaction to his name. I'm afraid Mia doesn't find him as interesting as I do, but that's okay. Everyone has their preferences. Mine happens to lean towards serious, intelligent men with integrity, not even Keanu Reeves could question. Did you know it takes 10 years of persistent herbicidal treatment to get rid of kudzu? You don't say. No, I didn't. Mia's eyes drift to her screen. Well, Sebastian says most people don't. He's organizing a rally next weekend to petition the state to use goats instead of harmful chemical herbicides. They're marching at the Capitol building in Raleigh. This has her swiveling her chair my way. I'm sorry, did you say goats? I nod, scanning a book for reshelving. Yeah, you can rent them to graze. Rent goats. I can't imagine that turning out well. Her chair returns to its original position, and she resumes her scrolling. Sebastian said they'll even have a few at the rally. I can't wait. If there's a baby one, I can't be held responsible for the complete loss of self-control I'll experience. You're going? I glance over from my stack. Of course I'm going. Sebastian needs me. Mia's brow crinkles. Did he, say that? Maybe she has a headache or something. Say what? That he needs you. My scanner hand stills as I consider her question. Well, not in so many words, but you know, Sebastian, I shrug. Not really, Mia mumbles before greeting a patron carrying an armful of books to check out. I wait until the man leaves before responding. I always forget you've only met Sebastian that one time. His activism takes up so much of his schedule. Sebastian is such a dedicated steward of the earth. He works tirelessly for environmental causes, is completely vegan, and he doesn't even own a car. Mia scrunches her nose at me as she pushes a wheeled book trolley my way. Does he have a nickname or something? Sebastian is so unwieldy. No. I try to imagine calling him Seb or Bastian, but neither rolls off the tongue in the right way. But it suits him. I shift the pile of scanned books to the side and wave to one of our regulars who just walked in the doors. Do you want to come to Raleigh with us? I ask Mia. Her chin dips as she eyes me. Does anything about my person say I want to spend my Saturday lecturing people about weeds and farm animals? I reflexively scan her outfit, noting the shiny patent leather heels and the perfect state of her red nail polish. I'll take that as a no. My phone vibrates in my pocket and I pull it out to see a text from Duke. We're not technically supposed to keep our phones with us during our shifts, but I worry if I don't have a tether to Duke. Duke, the UPS man put a hidden camera in our eaves. I narrow my eyes at the screen before moving my thumbs across it. Me. Why would the UPS man want to watch us? Duke. He doesn't. It's the people he works for. Me. The shareholders? He ignores me as usual. Duke. I'm knocking it down. Me. Don't you dare. It can wait until I get home tonight. No ladders. I mean it. Duke, Mia asks as she slides a copy of Now You're One of Us across the counter to a sullen teenager with ink stains on her hands. How did you know? I frown on my phone. Your face puckers like you're sucking on Sour Patch Kids when you text with him. Well, that's not good. I chew my lip and continue watching the screen, willing my grandfather to text back that he's rethought his plan to break his one good hip. Go on, Mia says. You've still got your lunch break and I'll cover for you if it takes longer. I don't even pretend to think about it. Thanks, Mia. You're the best. I abandon the return books, snatching up my bag and keys and practically sprinting for the door. In my distracted state, I don't look where I'm going and plow directly into a solid object covered in cotton. I bounce off, barely catching myself with a foot behind me. I blink to regain my bearings and bring my hand to my throbbing forehead. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. The scent of yeasty fear fills my nostrils as I look up to find I've nearly concussed myself on the scruffy artist's shoulder blade. The one covered by an army green t-shirt that highlights the moss in his eyes. This man would be any artist's perfect muse, if you ask me. But my heart squeezes at the thought that it's only midday and he's already drunk so much it's coming out of his pores. Perhaps alcohol is the only way he can access his own muse, and he's slowly lost control of it. Does he have anyone in his life to turn to? That reminds me, I read an article last month about magic mushrooms' potential in addiction treatment. Or was it LSD? No, that doesn't sound right. Now I can't remember. But I should definitely dig up the article again. Where might one procure magic mushrooms here in Asheville? It was my fault, the guy responds in a curt tone, hiking a worn leather satchel up on his opposite shoulder as he steadied me with a hand. He radiates warmth and beer, but that's neither here nor there. He's looking right through me, though, clearly anxious to get on his way, which reminds me, I need to move my butt as well. Not at all, I reassure him, and he releases his hold on my upper arm. My head is hard as a rock. I give my skull a couple good knocks with my free hand. Anybody home? I grin. The artist makes a sound somewhere between a groan and a hum and continues on his way, throwing a mumbled, sorry, have a good day over his shoulder. I pause where I am so I don't accidentally assault him again. You too, but he's already gone, like I should be. There will be plenty of time later to consider how I might help this man on a mushroom hunt, but right now is not the time. There's a certain pig-headed octogenarian in Black Mountain who needs a lecture on the detrimental effects of his behavior on my mental health. I swear that man will drive me to an early grave, and I refuse, absolutely refuse, to die a virgin.